Welcome to JLo Academy. I'm Russell Mays, Director of Content. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive study on JLo and how she styles her hair, and when she gets that bombshell kind of look, we're going to show you how to get the texture right, how to get the layering right, and how to make sure that you have that strong, heavy, solid bang that really makes it pop. Now, to go through and do this particular type of shape that JLo tends to wear a lot, it's not so much that the hair is layered to get volume and fullness to it. It's kind of a throwback to old school hairdressing where they would cut length and then style it into shape. So in order to create this shape where it's just a natural lived-in type of layering, we're going to go through and do some very, very deep razoring, and I'm going to use the brand new Feather Plier Razor in white. I love the white look. I think it's really eye-catching and unique, and I think this is going to be my new favorite. Now, when I'm going through with this kind of retro type of razor cut, I'm not focused so much on building a real solid shape. I'm focused more on getting the right amount of texture. So I'm going to start with a pretty good gap. Start here short, go through, work that all the way down to the tip, and then cut that across. So the channels are a little further apart, but they're real deep. I'll go through, take these channels pretty deep and far apart, and I'm not worried about making sure everything is perfect. This is an exercise in loosening up your hair cutting, and I'm cutting visually more so than I'm cutting technically by building the shape in a structured way. So I'll take my next section down. I want to use enough hair that I feel like I have a good amount in my hand, that it doesn't get real transparent and wispy, but I don't want to have so much that it causes the razor any sort of difficulty being cut through. Take my next section, combing everything straight down. Pretty major gaps between my razor stroke. Check that, that's looking pretty good. And I want to make sure that I have texture in the very bottom of it. It's my next piece, there we go. Cut that down and through. And look at it. And I think that that's looking pretty good. We got a little bit more weight over here. So I'm going to take a little bit out. You can see how that's kind of clumping together a little more. So I'm going to take a little more out right through there. And that's looking more symmetrical and more even across the entire shape. And I'm just going to take horizontal parallel sections until I get everything cut horizontally. Once that I feel like I have a solid enough perimeter shape, as I work up the head, I'm going to start elevating each section so I can get a little bit of graduation in my internal layering. That will prevent me from having to go back and remove a lot of length and a lot more texture in the perimeter length, because I don't want this to bulk up. I want this to kind of dissipate into tendrils, and if I hold everything straight down, that's going to start building up a more solid shape. So I'm going to hold the section at that elevation. Let that hair underneath kind of fall out. Continue this real deep channeling as I go through. There's my elevation. There's my length guide from underneath. Follow us on your favorite social media at JLo Feather. Now, since I'm doing this very fast and loose, there is going to become an opportunity for me to texturize one side a little bit more than the other side with each section that I go up, especially working from left to right. So if I happen to go through and layer one section a little bit more, take a little bit too much hair out, I'm not going to freak out about it. The next section I'll leave it a little heavier, and that's okay. So it's not about being precise and precision and perfect. It's about just creating a texture to it with that internal separation, so I can have that shape and that length there to style it. Because this is about how you style it as much as it is what the shape of the cut is. When I need to fine-tune something, like say I got a little something here that doesn't hang quite like I want, when I need to fine-tune it, then I can go through, slow down, be real precise, take off just little bits to get the texture just like I want, to get the lengths just like I want, before I move on to the next shape. I'm going to go through and use a little bit of blade glide just to make sure I can keep a consistent level of wetness, and also to make my razor glide through the hair as easy as possible. So by going through and putting in so much texture and so deeply, it gives me the illusion of the hair being layered, even though technically it's not really layered. The shape is very much one length with a little bit of face framing layering going on around the front, but you got to get the texture right. So it takes a little bit of time to dial it in. That's where you're spending your time, is making sure you get the textures right, the weight even, and you get enough internal separation to start to really make that shape pop. Now let's go through, after we've finished all of that, I'm going to look and see how our shape is looking underneath on the bottom, and I'm thinking that that's looking pretty good. It looks like we got some layering because we have all of that movement going through, but it's not actually layered. It's almost all one length in our basic shape with just this internal texture. All right, so now let's move on to the front. Next section is going to be from the first bump of the head to the high point over the ear. Now I'm going to break this down a little bit further. I'm going to take from her natural part right to the corner of her eye, which should be about the center of the recession. I'm going to section this out. I'll pin this out of the way. Now I'm going to go through and start my layering around the front. This is really the only, technically the only part of the haircut that's going to be layered, is this face framing around the front. Now most of the pictures that she has this real heavy kind of bang that flips, or sometimes just kind of cups under, and then it blends through the length on the sides with this face framing. So I'm going to start with my bang section, and I'm going to take a center piece. I'm going to look at this and see how much weight I want that to be split on each side. And I think about a little bit more. So I'm going to go a little more there, a little more there. Visually look at it, see where it falls, see how that shape is going to hit. And now I'm going to cut this section. Instead of cutting it at an angle to force it to flow, I want it to have that heavy, solid, almost disconnect from the rest of the layering. So I'm going to cut this straight across. I am going to use a razor so I have texture, but the line is technically going to be straight across. Right through there. After I got my channeling through it, I'm going to go through and blunten this shape up a little bit, so I have, you can see very, very plainly where I have my channeling that's going to cause that to separate, but then I cut it blunt right through there. So when I style this, this is going to have that strong, heavy shape around the front. Here is where I'm going to start angling this down. So I have my neck section there. I'll start here in the front, pull that forward, and here where I start angling it into my face framing into the sides. After I get that, we're going to make that pop a little more, like that. Same thing on the other side. Now we're going to take The rest of this hair here, this section here is all the hair that has the ability and the tendency to fall in the face. I am going to elevate so I have some of the airiness of this face framing. There's my short piece. A nice sharp blade makes this very, very easy work to go from short down to my length without any hassles, and I end up with this nice, easy, airy blend. Same thing on the other side. The shorter the stroke, the more solid my shape becomes. The longer the stroke, the softer and the airier it's going to be. So if I have a piece that's not hanging like I want, and I want to put more control in it, like this little area here, I'll take a shorter stroke to help force that to curve into the shape that I'm going for. Looking good. Now on my next section here, I am going to hold this down because I want a clear separation between the front being airy, transitioning into my sides. And there shouldn't be a whole lot of hair here that needs to be cut. There we go. Give us a thumbs up, click subscribe, and the notification bell to be notified of future Jatai Academy content. Same thing on the other side. And I think that that's looking pretty good. We have this nice, heavy, solid front layer, and then it goes into blending in with the sides. We got a nice texture through it, and I think we're looking pretty good for the overall basic shape. Now let's go through and blow it dry, see what we got. Spray on you, girl. Get you ready for Hollywood. I like it. I think we got the right texture. I think that the shape really lends itself to being able to style it in a lot of different ways. And when you have a shape that doesn't have a real solid structure, it enables it to absorb whatever type of styling that you want to put into it. It's very, very versatile. And especially if you want to add any kind of extensions or wefts or anything like that into this, it will blend in very, very easily, much more so than if you had a very, very structured shape done with scissors. Please let us know what you'd like to see in the future. Thank you so much for checking out Jatai Academy. There's all kinds of fantastic information on there that will make you a better hairstylist and barber. And we will see you next time. Thanks for watching.